Hey y'all, it's Timidity. I want to make sweet potato pie. But to get to this video topic quickly, I remember I once dated this guy. He seemed like he was autistic, but he's never been tested, but no offense, he points to all the signs. That's why we hung out together. We were like fucking practically fused at the hip. But something that came up was he approached me and he was like, I don't know, I'm just not good with making friends or talking to people. Like, whenever I talk, people just zone me out. They never listen to me. They get bored and they like start talking over me, or they just stare at the floor and then like or walk away from me. It's super rude. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I'm not meant to have friends. And I had been his friend for not long, but like, mind you, we had seen each other like for hours every single day, mind you. So mind you, I knew a lot about him very quickly. I told him, and I know how to say things in a really nice manner, but I said, "Hey, can I tell you something and you promise not to get offended? Like, do you really want to know why I think that is?" He said, "Yeah, sure, I want to know. Like, why is it?" I said, "You have this thing where you just talk really, really for a long time without any pause, and it kind of makes it hard for someone to wiggle their way into a conversation or to even stay focused. Cause and I even told him, like, how sometimes even with me when I get too excited, I'll talk like really really fast, a mile a minute. No one can understand what I'm saying because they can't really process what I'm saying because I'm talking way too fast. And then it's like, and it just keeps going on, and no one can it doesn't leave room for like questions or like to make sure someone's focusing or to lock in, and that's important because if someone's talking for a really long time and they don't have like room to for others to breathe or for themselves to breathe, it's going to be hard for someone to follow along or even have indicators of interest. And then I said to him, that thing I do where I like pause as I'm talking to ask you really quickly if you're understanding? Like, you know about that? He said, and he kind of laughed because the irony. He said, "Yeah, I know that." And I said, "Yeah, and you see how like that helps because then like if you do that every few seconds in a conversation, it kind of helps like you to like let me know if you do or don't understand something, or like if you're interested in the topic or not." And he's like, "Yeah, I do." And I said, "Yeah, you just got to do that a little bit more, and then people will have a easier time following along." And he seemed really grateful for that. And then he noticed that he had a much easier time socializing with people, because before he would talk either really 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 slow and long drawn out, or just like go on forever about a topic a mile a minute. And I can handle that, of course I can. But then again, even sometimes with him, he kind of got used to me, and I felt bad about doing it. But sometimes, like, I am glad we had that conversation because there were times where he would just be talking, and then he'd kind of be like, "And you're doing that thing again, aren't you?" And he would wave a hand in front of my face, and it's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Because it's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, you're kind of putting me to sleep here, man." Or it's like sometimes it's just like I would fade out because it's like, okay, he's never gonna give me room to ask a question, like show reciprocal energy, inquire. It's just there. You have to be careful with that because, funny enough, a guy I went on a date with like last year around this time of year, he was an interesting guy. His name was Harrison. He fatfished me. I was okay with though. Like, fuck it. But I will say this, Harrison was like, he told me that in Japan they call that blackbird chatter, when someone's just talking just to talk, and then they're not letting room for others to like even join in. They're just talking at someone or through someone, not with someone. And that was great, but then you can guess what he did. Ironically, the rest of the date he spent time doing his own Blackbird chatter, telling me all the shit about World War III. I mean World War II. Or which war? It was the one with Hitler. He told me a lot of interesting shit. And I appreciated it, but I would have appreciated it more if he left natural rooms for pauses and asked questions to make sure I'm following along and focusing and all that. And then, ironically, he ruined his second date by doing the exact same thing. I remember this specific moment. We watched this movie called Monster, a Japanese film, and the credits didn't even start rolling before he was like, "So yeah, this movie is not quite as good as Lawrence of Arabia. Lawrence of Arabia is 10 times better. That movie takes place in the desert. It has all the famous actors. It was made in the 60s and 70s." And then I had to be like, "Hey, man, I'm kind of crying because, like, that was I need to process that. Plus, it's a movie about, like, two autistic kids who are gay dying, and I'm gay and autistic. So that really fucked me up. So I'm gonna need a few seconds or even a few minutes to just process the movie in silence, okay?" This nigga just fully looked at me like, "Why? Anyway, so about Lawrence, sorry, and then yeah, let's just say he did not get a third date with me. But he did feel really bad once I communicated his fuck ups, because of course I would. I'm a very upfront person, and he sent me $300 as an apology gift. So yeah, that worked out nice. Thanks, Harrison. I'm grateful for it. That was a weird point in time. But yeah, I think that's why I'm pretty good with autistic friends, because usually with them I'm pretty straightforward about certain things. Like I'll and also with people with ADHD or certain mental conditions, because I always communicate, hey, just because my face isn't reacting doesn't mean I don't feel joy. Oh, hey, just so you know, if you want me to leave your place, you might have to tell me, all right, I had a fun time, but I'd like you to go now, because otherwise I won't know when to leave, and I might think you hate me otherwise. Or I very much value communication, and I think more people should do that. And I feel like not enough people, like, when I was younger, I feel like a lot of people don't get like special, like, because when I was younger they would put you in a room and be like, here, we're gonna give you goldfish every time you learn how to smile correctly, Tamia. Yeah, do you feel sad? What do they do when they're sad? And like, and teach us like etiquette stuff, basically. Not everyone got that, so that's why sometimes I meet people where I have to remind them, hey, uh just so you know, you have to like ask questions back. Otherwise, it feels like I'm just not prioritized and under prioritized. And then they'll be like, oh shit, I didn't notice I was doing that. Sorry. Or I'll say what I said to that one ex boyfriend of mine, where it's like, oh, you have to have natural pauses so that people can focus on you. And ever since then, he's been socializing well. I think it helps make the world go round when people do that. Bye.